It was a cold, moonless night deep in the heart of the Pacific Northwest. The dense forest was shrouded in an eerie silence, broken only by the occasional hooting of an owl or the rustling of leaves under the weight of some unseen creature. Mark and his friends, Sarah and Mike, had always been drawn to the mysteries of the wilderness, but little did they know that this particular night would change their lives forever. They had set up camp near a remote lake, far away from civilization. As they sat around the flickering campfire, sharing stories and laughter, a sudden chill descended upon the air. The laughter died down, replaced by an uncomfortable silence. It was as if the forest itself had held its breath, sensing an impending danger. Unable to shake off the eerie feeling, Mark suggested they turn in for the night. Reluctantly, the group retreated to their tents, their minds plagued with thoughts of the unknown. The night wore on, and as they lay in their sleeping bags, the distant howl of a wolf echoed through the darkness, sending shivers down their spines. Just as Mark began to drift into a restless sleep, a low, guttural growl rumbled from outside his tent. He shot up, his heart pounding in his chest, as fear coursed through his veins. He strained his ears, hoping it was just his imagination, but the growling grew louder, more menacing. Without hesitation, Mark unzipped his tent and peered outside. The campsite was bathed in an eerie glow, courtesy of the pale moonlight filtering through the thick canopy of trees. He scanned the area, his eyes widening in terror as he caught a glimpse of a towering figure lurking in the shadows. It was Bigfoot. The creature stood at least 8 feet tall, covered in matted, dark fur that seemed to absorb what little light remained. Its piercing red eyes glowed with an otherworldly intensity, and long, gnarled claws adorned its massive hands. The stench of damp earth and decay hung heavy in the air, overpowering Mark's senses. Frozen with fear, Mark locked eyes with the creature, feeling its malevolence penetrate his soul. Bigfoot let out an ear-splitting roar, shaking the very ground beneath them. The force of the roar reverberated through the forest, causing Sarah and Mike to awaken in a state of panic. They stumbled out of their tents, their faces ashen with terror, only to be greeted by the horrifying sight before them. Bigfoot advanced toward them, each step causing the earth to quake. Sarah and Mike, paralyzed with fear, stood rooted to the spot, unable to move. As Bigfoot closed in, Mark's survival instincts kicked in. He screamed at his friends to run, and they sprinted through the underbrush, branches slashing at their faces. Their hearts pounded in their chests as they desperately sought refuge, but Bigfoot's thunderous footsteps echoed behind them, drawing closer with each passing moment. It seemed like an eternity of terror as they stumbled through the dark, disoriented and gasping for breath. Finally, they burst into a small clearing, where an old abandoned cabin stood, its creaky door hanging precariously off its hinges. Desperation pushed them inside, and they slammed the door shut, barricading it with all their strength. Inside the cabin, the 3 friends huddled together, their bodies trembling with fear and exhaustion. They could hear Bigfoot's enraged roars echoing through the forest as it circled the cabin, seeking a way in. The night dragged on, the terrifying presence of the creature a constant reminder of their impending doom. Hours passed, and just as hope began to fade, the first rays of sunlight peeked through the cracks in the dilapidated cabin, casting a faint glow on Mark, Sarah, and Mike. As if sensing the approaching dawn, Bigfoot let out a final deafening roar before retreating into the depths of the forest. Cautiously, the 3 friends emerged from the cabin, their bodies weary and minds haunted by the night's horrors. They made their way back to the campsite, where their belongings lay scattered and their tents torn apart. The evidence of Bigfoot's presence was clear, serving as a chilling reminder of the encounter they had barely survived. Wordlessly, they packed up their remaining gear, their minds racing with questions and emotions they struggled to comprehend. With a mixture of relief and trepidation, they made their way back to civilization, forever changed by their brush with the unknown. Though their encounter with Bigfoot would become a tale of legend, whispered among locals and avid adventurers, the true depth of their experience remained etched into their souls. They had come face to face with a creature of myth and survived, but the memories would forever haunt their dreams, a constant reminder of the vast mysteries that lie hidden in the darkest corners of the world.